Welcome our viewers to Afrique 24. And today we have a special guest with us. And we want you to stay tight and be ready to hear very, very important information that will be very, very helpful. And this is about unlocking the land issues or problems in Kenya. Today, we will be discussing one of those areas that have been very troubling to many of us, both in Kenya and abroad or diaspora, and especially people in diaspora who have sometimes no access to getting back home to deal with the issues of land. Today, we will be discussing the issue of succession. Our guest who is with us will tell us what the succession is, how do we go about succession, why is it important, and how do we start succession. And none other but engineer Florence Morar with us. She will introduce herself and tell us who she is and why she qualifies to talk about the issues of land in our country, Kenya. Engineer Florence, would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Mr. James. My name is Engineer Florence Morar. I am a Kenyan, but right now I stay in the United States of America. I have been in the Ministry of Lands for like over 30 years. And that's why I feel like there are things that people don't know. If they know, they will be helped. Because as we always say, when you have knowledge, then you have the power. And the power can help you to move wherever you want to move to and do what you want to do.
Yes.
So that's why I felt like the knowledge that I've gathered in the 30 years that I've worked in the Ministry of Land Survey Department enables me to feel that I'm the best to explain what happened so that our people can be helped, both in Kenya, those who will listen, and those who are still here in the diaspora, wherever. It can be in America, it can be in the UK, it can be Australia, but wherever they can have that knowledge and be able to know what they are supposed to do.
Yes.
I am a student from Jomo Kenyatta University. I have done geomatic engineering and geospatial information system. And this is all to deal with land, both in digital and in analog. And also I've been a lecturer in the Kenya Institute of Surveying and Mapping, which is a college under Ministry of Lands that trains our surveyors. I have been a lecturer for 10 years in that institution, lecturing students who are doing Kenya National Examination Council. They do a diploma for 3 years.
Yes.
And I was able to take them through about land and what happens. And so I feel I have a lot of knowledge that I can disseminate to people to help them so that they can be able to understand what happens. There are so many topics, but as Mr. Njoroge has said, we are going to deal with succession, which is almost like a core problem, a main problem. And it can be succession. You are getting land, a piece of land from your father. Maybe you are buying a piece of land. And that's why you need to know, if you are buying a piece of land, which kind of piece of land is this are you buying? How are you going to get the documents for this piece of land?
Yes.
If it is a piece of land from your father who has passed on, or your mother, or your whoever relative has passed on, if it is a piece of land that you are supposed to get, how are you going to get the documents so that you are the absolute owner of this piece of land? So when we address the topic of succession, dealing with how you can get a piece of land from a person who has already passed on so that you can own this piece of land legally. So there are procedures for succession.
Okay.
And succession is a process of acquiring documents which the owner, the initial owner, has died. So you acquire these document, legal documents. The process that you follow is called succession for you to be able to get these legal documents. So the process starts as from the grassroots. You have to get into the chief of the area who knows that this land belonged to Mr. John, and who knows that this land has, there are those who are called the ones who are going to succeed this land. They are called the next of kin. The chief must know them.
Yes.
So when their father, for example, has died, and there is a piece of land that he has left which he had not subdivided before he died, this piece of land can be given to the wife, who can be able to divide it to the sons and all the children, because with the law today, even ladies, girls in a family, they are given a piece of land. So this succession now, to be able to be successful, the person who is the next of kin will get his ID and his PIN number or PIN certificate, and get the title deed of the person who died, and get a letter from the chief and take it to the Ministry of Lands for a search.
Okay.
When he does the search, and the search says that this land is free of loan, it is free of any case in the court, it is free, there is no any encumbrances on this piece of land, then the next process will start. You will be given this document called a search, which has got all the information of the owner of the land, and then it will take this information together with the documents of the people who are going to be the beneficiaries of this piece of land.
Yes.
These are all the children, all of them. They give their documents, they give the ID, they give their PIN, and then they take it to a lawyer who is able to compile for them a report which is sent to the government of Kenya, and the government of Kenya, that is in the government press, where they do the Kenya gazettements. They gazette any document and whatever it is done in the government press. So these documents are going to be compiled, and a report is going to be made, and together they will be sent to the government press, where the process again of looking into this piece of land, that process may take around 2 months before it come out to show that for real this piece of land was for Mr. John, and then it will be put there for around 6 months for anybody who can query and say this John was not the owner or wherever. So it is in the court for 6 months as it awaits any complainants. If there is no any complaint, the court will be able to call all the beneficiaries. Ask if there is any one of them that has any issue that is not agreeing to whoever is the administrator, to whoever that is going to divide this piece of land. If all of them are in agreement, then there's a document, a report that is made to Survey of Kenya Department, where they will now give a surveyor who is going to do the survey of this land according to the number of people who are supposed to be beneficiaries. And now these people, each of them is going to get a title deed by his own or her own name and with our own green card, which we discussed in the last episode. Maybe you can go back and check if you didn't get what is a green card. We really elaborated on that. That green card has now to be given to each beneficiary bearing the name of the person, the details, the acreages, the type of piece of land, and now that is what we call genuine owning of a piece of land from someone who has died. When I was in Survey of Kenya, I came across a lady whose husband had died, and she didn't know what to do. She was in the UK. She went back. She married the husband, and somebody told her that, give me the documents, I'm going to help you change the names from your name to your husband. And then she came back to the UK. When she went back, she didn't have that piece of land didn't belong to her again. So she kept on coming to Survey of Kenya. But one day we met in the corridors of Survey of Kenya, and I asked her, because she looked so depressed, she was unwell, she had crutches, she had some problem, I think. And she told me, you know what, this is what happened. I asked her to give me her documents. When I went to check, I realized that somebody had changed the green card. And it was no longer bearing the name of the husband. And, I told her not to panic. And we went through the process of going to see the director of survey.
Yes.
And that piece of land was revoked. The person who had taken it was the person who was given the documents. So it was revoked. And that lady came back to UK when she was happy. There are pieces of land like in Embakasi, where people were buying land from then those days. Those who acquired land in the regime, I think the first regime, they acquired big piece of land.
Yes.
And then they went and they got the allotment letters. So they gave allotment letters to the people who are buying land. And these people who are buying land have lived in Embakasi for years, 20 years, 30 years. They have never gotten title.
Na hata wamejenga.
Na wale ambao ule aliwauzia alikufa kitambo. Na sasa wao wanafikiri tuko sawa kwa sababu tuko na nini? Tuko na hiyo share certificate. A share certificate, it is very easy for someone to get another share certificate, and that piece of land can be sold even 10 times when you think you own it. And at some time, your property will come to be destroyed. You must follow. And this has to be like the way we have said succession. If this person died, who was left, who was given even a will, who was told that you, after I die, you are going to help these people get this piece of land? Who has the matter title to that piece of land? So this is an issue that has made even people to die. It has costed people a lot of money. Before I came from Kenya, we were doing, in 2017, we were doing Embakasi ranches. And it had a lot of, people buying 3-4 times. So when they were coming with their names and their certificate to the office, and you look at the computer and you see what we have captured, you are even unable to tell somebody this piece of land does not belong to you. Why? Because you are like, this person already is scared, He has put all his money there. And now when he comes to check if his title is there, it is not his name that was brought.
Mm-hmm.
So people have taken advantage of that.
Mm.
People have told others what to do, which is not right, to get that piece of land. And you keep giving money,
Mm.
yet you have no direction. You have no procedure, the right procedure to follow for you
Mm.
to be able to get that title.
Yes.
So these are the things that we are saying. If you don't follow the right procedure for those pieces of land you bought 20 years, and
Yes.
you are saying, I have a share certificate, and you don't know who else has a share certificate in
Mm-hmm.
that piece of land, you
Yes.
better now wake up and know that you need a document called a title deed that can be able to enable you say, I own this piece of land, and make sure it is a genuine document.
Yes.
I came across somebody who had bought a piece of land, but
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, he had not paid. He was in the process to pay.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to the same church. I
Yes.
am a pastor of a church. As I talk about land, I also talk about the heaven land. But God says, occupy before I come.
Yes.
So we are occupying this land. And
Mm-hmm.
they say it's also that where we step, we possess. So
Yes.
this person, this brother, a man of God, was almost going to pay, but he heard about me that I work in the Ministry of Lands, and he came with the title and he showed me.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at it, because we are the people who make the title, so we know the features, the security features. So
Okay.
when you look at it, you will just know. Like the people look at a fake note and they
Yes.
know this is not an original
Yes.
money. So the
Mm-hmm.
same way, because we put those features, we sit down. I was in the committee that was sitting down to know the features that we put on a title deed,
Mm-hmm.
security features which you cannot easily identify. So even if you take it to River Road, I
Yes.
will be able to know this
Yes.
is River Road document.
Mm.
So the title deed had even the red mark,
Mm.
and it looked like it was a seal. And when he brought it to me, I looked at it, but I said, you don't just tell somebody hii ni fake.
Mm.
Niliangalia tu nikamwambia, ukiniruhusu
Mm.
nitaenda. Alikuwa ananunua shamba Nakuru,
Mm-hmm.
nitaenda Nakuru kesho,
Mm.
nitaenda verify, alafu
Yes.
nikuambia.
Mm.
So that is how I went, and I found that that piece of land was fake. That title was fake. Even there was no piece of land. There wasn't. So I advised that man. And when he started now confronting the one who was selling, he disappeared. He was not reached on the phone. So he could have.
So how are such disputes resolved in Kenya?
The land disputes in Kenya has to go to a long process. Some of them have to go through the courts.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have to go through the wazees.
Okay.
Wazeezi wale wa nyumbani wanajua, kwa sababu hata ukienda kotini saa zingine pesa ikiendwa, mtu akimwaga pesa, yeye anachukua hapa hand yete ako wrong. Lakini wale wazee wa nyumbani wenye walijua hii shamba ilikuwa aje, ama kama kuna mtu anajua kabisa juu ya hiyo historia ya hiyo shamba, then those disputes zinakuwa channeled through Survey of Kenya. A surveyor will be called to court to go and testify. Whoever did the subdivision has to go and testify how the subdivision was. So depending on what kind of a dispute, if it is just like a family dispute whereby you are disputing the boundaries of each one of you, where you are saying huyu alipewa kubwa, mimi nikapewa ndogo, hiyo mnaweza itana tu watu hapo wa nyumbani na chief na nini mkubaliane. Kwa hivyo inategemea which kind of dispute that you have concerning land.
So in regard to succession, what kind of disputes have you seen in all your years of working?
The succession dispute come when you find most people or most like children, they disagree. They disagree. You know, when we talk about succession, we are not only talking about a piece of land. You are succeeding all the property that your father had.
Okay.
So somebody is given, like, say, 20,000, there was money in the account. Even money in the account is distributed.
Yeah.
So it's given like 20,000 and maybe given like 2 acres, and they say no. And that can be a big deal,
Okay.
because that succession cannot be, it cannot proceed until that dispute is solved and everybody go to court and say, I am comfortable. I am comfortable.
Okay.
So most successions have been a problem, especially when somebody feels like, no, this, I don't want this side, I want this side. That has really been a problem.
Nimedanganywa.
Nimedanganywa, nimenyanganywa. Na saa hiyo unapata pengine mtu ameoa na ako na watoto, bibi pia anamfinya, anamwambia, kwani sisi ndio tunapewa hapa kwa mawe, mbona nani anapewa pale? Sasa akifika pale wakiwa pamoja, anasema hapana, mimi sitaki hiyo. So inakuwa big issue. Yeah.
So you have mentioned something which will probably in other segments will be a good follow-up, but in maybe 2 or 3 minutes, can you explain what's the difference between a share certificate and a title?
A share certificate is just the way it is called, a certificate is a document that shows that so and so sold you a piece of land. And they don't have like security features, like what they are, just it's like a form that is printed names, and like the so and so sold so and so land this time, and you paid this and you paid that. So it's a certificate to show that you own that piece of land, but you are not the absolute owner. You become an absolute owner when you have this title deed, which declares that you are an absolute owner of this piece of land. So a certificate can be printed by anybody, a share certificate. It's like shares. Oh, you bought this piece, and so this is the share that shows that you bought this, and this is the acreages. And somebody can change and sell to another person and give a share certificate. But you see now, a title deed that is genuine, you cannot give a genuine title deed twice.
So it's a matter of succession.
It's a matter of succession. To be sure that the piece of land that you are getting, the matter title, that is the name that is changing. And even as I said last time, once that subdivision has been done, there's what we call map amendment. That amendment of that map is permanent. Once it has been amended, it is like it goes along with the title deed that somebody was given. Yeah. And shows the parcel numbers. And so someone cannot change that as you can change a share certificate.
So when you have a share certificate, the best thing to do is to hurry up and get the title.
Yes. Yes.
And both of them are issued by the Ministry of Land, the certificate. Is it genuinely known and given by the ministry also?
You find that mostly those share certificates, they are given by companies. Companies that bought land. So those share certificates, they read the name of that company. So most of them, they are just printed by the company that is selling you the piece of land. Like we had those pieces. There's a piece of land which is in Nairobi somewhere there in Kasarani, which has always had like just share certificates, and it was not possible for the people to get the title deeds, and people were not able even to construct because those are companies that were selling. And now instead of them follow up to get the title for the people, because they have all the surveyors, they have everything, they just let people have the share certificates so that, for their self-interests.
Okay. So in succession, there is the process of succession.
Yeah.
Then there is search to verify the land. And now there is the legal part where the lawyer comes in. If I hear very well, correct me if I'm wrong. And I just want people to understand what the process is all about.
Yeah, as we said, the process of succession has got, steps.
Yes.
And that's where we said that step number one, you have to get to the chief,
Yes.
who has to acknowledge that for real that piece of land belongs to so and so, and write a letter.
Yes.
And that letter is what will allow you to get a search from the Minister of Land. That is step number two. Once you get a search, now you involve the legal person, because the legal person will write a report, compile a report together with all the beneficiaries. And then that report is sent to government of Kenya. That is in the government press for gazettement.
Yes.
Yeah. So after gazettement, again now it will be sent back to court. Then from court, then again to lands, where the titles will be given. So there are around 6 or 7 steps that you must follow genuinely for you to be able to get a genuine documents. Sometimes what happens, people are told that lawyers are very expensive, so you can jump that process. And sometimes it is not easy for a person to compile a report. Like myself, I just compile a report and take it to the government press. It's a process which is sometimes jumped. And you find that what you are supposed to do that could have been a legal thing for in case of anything, you find you have really jumped a big step. So it's good to sacrifice so that you can be able to get the right, genuine documentation of the piece of land that you desire to have.
And viewers, thank you very much. We want all to thank Engineer Florence. And this is part 1 of succession that will end over there. And keep tuned to part 2. And you have already heard that she is really capable of giving us important information. We want to thank you for coming in, and I hope you have heard something that will be helpful to you. Thank you, and God bless you.